Underneath the mango tree, me honey and me, we watch for the moon. Underneath the mango tree, me honey and me, make bululu soon. La 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 la. Underneath the mango tree, me honey and me, make bululu soon.
Underneath the mango tree.
Who's that?
It's all right. I'm not supposed to be here either. I take it you're not.
What are you doing here? Looking for shells?
No, I'm just looking. The scene you just saw was, of course, the legendary scene between James Bond and Honey Ryder, played by Ursula Andress, from the very first Bond film, Dr. No. But the voice you hear on screen is not really Ursula Andress' voice. It was Nikki van der Zyle's voice. How did that come about? How did you end up, or how did your voice end up in Dr. No?
Okay, I tell you. I was taught how to do post-synchronization. And there are two types of post-synchronization. There's one which goes from English into English, so that if the English actress's voice isn't good enough, you can synchronize it. That's one way of synchronizing. But there's also the post-synchronization of foreign films, where the person is speaking in a different language, and it has to be translated into English, and then you have to do the lip synchronization. So with Dr. No, I was already quite competent now in doing post-synchronization because I learned it. And when the producers of Dr. No, they came to the firm where I was working, when we did a lot of films, they asked the man there in charge who was the best person to do the voice of Ursula Andress, and he recommended me. And that's how I came to do the audition for Dr. No, and then they took me. So obviously they must have thought I was good enough.
I scratched his face, and then... But he was stronger than I was.
And what happened after that?
I put a black widow spider underneath his mosquito net. A female, and they're the worst. It took him a whole week to die.
Was Ursula Andress' voice not good enough?
It was not sexy enough. It was a very deep and quite a hard voice. She's Swiss-German, and it was a bit too hard. They wanted more sexy, more soft, more gentle. And also the other thing was they wanted to sell the film in America. And they thought maybe that the voice, Ursula Andress' voice, wasn't suitable for that. And so I did Ursula's voice. Yeah, but then they obviously liked my voice because they asked me to change it for several different characters.
Yes, they did. And you almost became a Bond girl yourself.
I did.
On From Russia With Love, right?
Yeah, I did, almost, yes.
Okay.
There was a telephone call one day, and they said, Nikki, we'd like you to do a film test in Pinewood, and we are sending you a limousine.
Oh.
Right.
Nice.
So I didn't know when, where, or how, but anyway, I'm waiting for this limousine, and it never turned up.
It never turned up?
No.
Many, many years later, this was the 60s we're talking about.
Yes.
You worked on 9 other Bond films beside Dr. No.
Yes.
So up to, let's say, Moonraker, you did additional voices for the Bond girl. You revoiced them.
Yeah. For instance, in Goldfinger, I revoiced English Shirley Eaton into posh English.
Oh, right. Okay.
So she had a Cockney voice,
Cockney,
and I revoiced her into a gentle English, sexy voice. Right?
Because they needed that. They wanted that.
So an English lady, an English actress into English.
I'm beginning to like you, Mr. Bond.
No. Call me James.
More than anyone I've met in a long time, James.
Well, what on earth are we going to do about it?
Yes, what?
I'll tell you at dinner.
Where?
Well, I know the best place in town.
Ursula, Swiss-German into English. Claudine Auger in Thunderball.
Yes.
French into English. And so on and so forth. And a lot of the Bond girls had accents. But again, Eunice Gayson in Dr. No and in From Russia With Love, I revoiced in English posh, but she was a bit putu. That was exactly the opposite to Shirley Eaton, who had the Cockney accent. Then Eunice Gayson had the very upper class one, which was a little bit too upper class. So we made her a little bit lower class, but still sexy.
You're back in the Bond world. You have always been in the Bond world in some kind. But now, since 2012, 2013, you're quite You have become quite the star in Germany, haven't you?
Well, thanks to our friends and fans in Germany, yes. And it's very rewarding, because at the end of one's life it's nice to be acknowledged.